Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's a very bright day in here. I wanted to vlog this and get some natural light going, you know, getting out of that studio life. I recently attended 3 separate master classes, one with Marc Jacobs, one with NARS, and one with Aveeno and Katie Jane Hughes, and I had the pleasure of going to Sephora with Katie Jane Hughes. If you guys missed that vlog, it'll be there for you to witness. So over the course of attending these 3 master classes, I feel like I learned a lot of fun tips and tricks. I also got some pretty dope product recommendations, and I thought I would do a little makeup look here for you guys, discussing some of the things that I learned in said master classes, and also showing you a few of the products I picked up at the fault of Katie Jane Hughes. Katie Jane Hughes, you have personally ruined my wallet. So I just wanted to pop the vlog camera on and do this look with you now. So let's dive in. I'm gonna start with the Weleda Skin Food because my skin is so dry, so tight and dry around my mouth. And one thing that's always very, is it the right word to say unanimous across all of the advice from makeup artists is skin prep is key, skin is key. They spend so much time. Sarah Tanon, she is the one of the Marc Jacobs ambassadors, and she's also Lady Gaga's makeup artist. Oh, behind everything, all of her Met Gala looks, whatever. She said that she can spend easily up to an hour doing skin prep, which is crazy town. So that was pretty cool to hear. I'm not gonna do that right now, but that was cool to hear. So Weleda Skin Food on my mouth. I'm gonna take the Vichy Serum, the Mineral 89 Serum, and also the Chanel Le Beige, and pump that on for some bronzy goodness. I tried using the Faux Tan bronzer. This was a Katie Jane Hughes favorite. I really don't like it in comparison to the Chanel Le Beige, which kind of does the same thing. It's like adding a lovely little bronzy base. Actually, no, the Bare Minerals one is technically actually a bronzer, but I found it really hard to blend out even when I mix it in with the serum. The Chanel one is much easier to blend out, so I'm just putting that everywhere. Obviously, if you don't have as tight or dry skin, you can be selective with where you put your hydrating primers and bases and whatnot, but I just want an all over drink of water on my skin, and I love to mix in a bronzy base with that to give my skin some life. So that's my little base. Now, this is one of the things that I purchased as per Katie Jane Hughes' recommendation, and I have been using it every single day since she was here, and it is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Illuminating version. I have this in the shade 2N1 Natural Radiance. They only have 4 shades of this, and I then saw that they came out with the new one, so I actually ordered this online. This is the same, this is the Natural Skin Perfector. It's the same name, so I don't know what. I didn't like get this in PR or anything, so I don't have a brief or whatnot, but I think they may have just expanded the shade range. I'm not sure, but I've been using and loving this, and I kind of wanted to try the new one today, which is this one right here. Oh yeah, cool, there's the squeezy little tube. One thing that I learned from Jenny, the NARS global makeup artist, she was so cool, man. She really rubbed product into her hands when she was using like foundation, concealer, whatever, and she said that she has her clients, whoever she's doing the makeup, like press their face into her skin, and she said she really likes to melt the products into the skin, and I thought that was cool. I'd never just like press the foundation myself. Anyway, I thought that was a cool tip, and I've been trying to do it, and I feel like it just really warms the product up and helps it melt into the skin. And one thing that she said in the masterclass was, here at NARS, we use our hands. And I was like, ooh, okay, perfect. It just kind of like reinforced the fact that I love to use my hands, but she used it with everything, like foundation, all the concealers, like she blended it all out with her hands, and she was very much a hands person. So I thought that was cool. Let's see how this looks. I can't see in the thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very nice. Oh, I have a booger in my nose. I'm so sorry if you saw that whole time. So for concealer, I wanted to note a couple of different things. Firstly, that Jenny was like, we use our hands for everything. But then one thing that I've noticed with a lot of makeup artists that I have been watching and stalking lately, they all use little brushes to apply concealer. You always see they take like a tiny little eyeshadow brush, and they're just like so softly blending the concealer in, which I find very interesting. I often use my fingers, so I wanted to try using a little eyeshadow brush. There's just fluffs attacking me. I don't know what to say here. I'm so sorry. I'm going absolutely mental. And then another thing I wanted to note, I'm not going to use these I don't think right now because I want to try something else, but I did want to mention the NARS concealer. When they were doing the masterclass, she mentioned something that I hadn't realized before, because I feel like on YouTube and Instagram for so long we've been taking the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, piling it all over and blending it out with a makeup sponge. And she was saying how this is a concealer meant for radiance, so I would like equate it to something like the YSL Touche Éclat or something like that. She's like, I would never cover a spot or a zit or a blemish with this concealer. She's like, I simply use this to highlight, she says, to bring light and radiance underneath the eyes and on the high points of the face. And then she said for concealing spots, she uses the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. So I thought that was super interesting because for years and years I've been using this as a spot concealer, and from the head makeup artist to be like, nay, that's for radiance only. I thought that was a really interesting tip to pass along to ye. So I've kind of been switching up how I use this lately. But then at the Aveeno masterclass with Katie Jane Hughes, in her kit, oh my gosh, she let us go up and take photos of her kit, which was amazing. She was using these Surratt concealers, and I've never seen anyone use these before with my own eyes, and she was using it and they looked stunning. So it's a concealer palette. There's a ton of different shades. They have 2 concealers and then a setting powder in here. So I got shade 2 and 3. Those were the shades she used on the model, and I am about to embark on a journey to Spain, so I did get a deeper one for my return, but I think for now I'm going to use 2. She was using this in a very interesting way. I loved what she was saying, how a lot of people use a lighter concealer when doing the face to brighten it or naturally contour, whatever, and she's saying that she likes to use actually the darker concealer that matches the rest of the face and then go in and highlight as you may. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to try this out. So this is a Surratt concealer. I'm going to warm this up with my finger and try it out. I'm gonna, oh, you know what, it's actually a lot lighter than I thought. Maybe I will use a little bit of 3. I'm gonna dip into 3. Oh yeah, you know what, actually the 2 of them is really nice. So I'm gonna apply some of the product. That's even probably like way more than Katie Jane Hughes would use, but I want to try the little, see, I feel like the brush technique doesn't work for me. I don't know how they do it or if it's just my skin, but I always find that I can see brush strokes whenever I use a brush. Like, it's much better for me when I blend it out with my fingers. I don't know why, I can never get the brush to work properly. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Anyway, these concealers looked stunning. I was so excited to try them. I'll keep you guys posted on how I use them. I'm gonna stick to my fingers here. I think another huge thing to note with like makeup artist makeup and editorial makeup and whatnot, I find it's a complete opposite of like Instagram makeup. It's always like less is more, very, very light covering things. They really try and work with the natural emphasis of the skin. However, I do find that whenever I see a makeup artist working on someone, the model generally always has exceptionally perfect skin. You know, I think that in general, the average human uses a lot more concealer than a makeup artist would in an editorial setting. But anyway, basically what I'm trying to do is use a very light base, so that tinted moisturizer, it's just evening out the skin tone all over, and then I'm going in and I'm spot concealing, and I'm trying to use my hands to do this and just applying a very little amount of actual makeup onto the skin. Yeah, I love that you get the multiple tones in here. There's a much more neutral shade in the concealer palette and then a much more yellow toned, peachy undertone, if you will, so you can have that kind of like color corrector and concealer and mix it all up all in one. Oh yeah, and back to the color using things. It's like when you're using a concealer and you're trying to cover up a spot. Katie Jane Hughes was just saying that if you used a lighter concealer, you're basically just highlighting that spot, you're making it brighter. So to use something that's more in your skin tone, you're blending it out, you're evening out the skin tone, covering your spots, and then you can go in and highlight later if you want to use something lighter underneath the eyes and whatnot. So my skin's pretty dry right now, so I'm actually just gonna leave the powders alone, but those were the concealer palettes. I thought that was really cool. And then, you know, the little note on the NARS concealers, very helpful, very excited to have that info in my life. So continuing on the Katie Jane Hughes train, I'm going to continue on with the base. She is a huge fan of Tom Ford products, and she had this in her kit as well. It's the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate palette. I feel like I'm the last person on YouTube to get my hands on this. I have boycotted this forever. I know Jamie Page is a huge fan. I feel like I've really been sleeping on this, but it's sometimes really hard to justify the price of a Tom Ford product, but I know many makeup artists swear by this and use it. And when Katie Jane Hughes pulled it out at her masterclass, I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go buy this. So I wanted to try it out today. They actually recently extended their shade range, but I got the original. This is Intensity 1. And I wanted to try it out here, test out the little contouring niblets. So I'm gonna try and do this lightly-ish. And this is my MAC 188 brush. It's my favorite brush for contouring. It's a dual fiber brush, so you can use it for cream products or powder products. It's very soft, and it's got a really wide surface area, which, as I blab on about forever, but if you're new here, hello. Here's my little tip. When I'm doing my bronzer and contouring products, I want it to be very natural. I don't want to have any stripy lines. And I find that using these dual fiber brushes like this and my e.l.f. stipple brushes, it's a flat surface and the bristles are very, very soft, and it's really widespread. So I find you get a much more natural looking, blended out finish than if you were using like a smaller bronzer brush, which many people do. I'm a big dual fiber fan. Also, this is stunning. This is such a stunning cream product. Oh my goodness. It's like melting into my skin, truly. Wow. I'm gonna take a little eyeshadow brush, the same one. Oh, another thing that Katie Jane Hughes always notes, she always keeps a small brush that she uses for concealer on hand for any corrections when she's doing eye makeup. And if she makes any mistakes or just, like, you know, overdraws something, she just takes that little concealer brush and just uses it to lightly fix any area. And I think that's really smart to keep something like that around. So I just ruined this little concealer brush, but if you wanted to make any corrections, keeping a little concealer covered brush on hand is cool. Cool. I'm gonna dip into the highlight shade here. I'm just gonna use my finger. Wow, it's very much like a face glossy gloss. I was kind of expecting it to be more firm. Wow. Oh, wow. Pretty. I feel like the reason why this one was so popular is it was just one of the first, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just gathered that it was one of the first, or one of the original cream products to kind of exist on the market. A very dynamic contour and highlighting shade, like the original face gloss. But there's just so many comparable products that are out on the market now. But I think it's cool to be using the OG makeup artist kit one. So that's that. It's beautiful. It's expensive, but it's beautiful. Continuing on, another Katie Jane Hughes moment. This is a Surratt palette. They sell these separately, and then you can fill it up with the highlighters and blushes. I'm not sure if they have bronzers. I was just checking this one out, and Katie Jane Hughes, again, in her Vino Masterclass, used this on the model, and it was actually the exact same palette that she used on Rosie Huntington Whiteley in the first Roseinc campaign. And I went back and found the blog post and got the actual shades that were in it. I had taken a picture of it at the Masterclass. She had like actually stuck these in. These are actually loose. I haven't actually magnetized mine in there or stuck them in, but did manage to get these shades. So I will write the shades below. I believe this one's Cherubique, this one's something, and that one's something. But anyway, she used this and it looked beautiful, and she just mixed all three of the shades together to highlight the cheek area, and it just looked so stunning, and it was very worn in. She literally just took her brush and went all across the three of them, and I just needed to try it. It looks so stunning. I will link, ooh, wow, that's really, yeah, that's intense. Whee! I will link the blog post on the Roseinc website where she has this listed, and she used it on Rosie, and it just looks so so beautiful and fresh. And I feel like I like to be a mixologist when it comes to my base and whatnot, but I would never think to just go like all across and use that as a blush, you know? But it's so pretty, and I've actually been wanting to try the Surratt blushes for a really long time. Whenever I've gone to the States, they're not available in store as far as I've seen in Canada, but in the States they are at Sephora, and you can buy it online in Canada, which is where I bought it. I made an online order. But in store, anytime I've gone to the States, it's always been sold out. Like the blushes that I've wanted to try, they're always sold out. So I was really excited to finally get my hands on this. That's super pretty. It's very, very pretty. I feel like I'll need to touch up this little spot here with concealer because I just rubbed it away. Whoops. Oh, I love that! How very, very, very nice. This was something that I actually bought with Katie Jane Hughes when we were at Sephora. She saw this in the travel-sized Isle of Doom at Sephora, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. And it's the Natasha Denona Mini Diamond and Glow. It's got a blush in here and a highlight, and she was very drawn to the highlighter, so naturally, as Katie Jane Hughes says, I purchased this as well. And I haven't actually used it on my face. I know she mentioned it's pretty glittery, so it's definitely not your everyday highlight, but I thought it would be fun to pat that on very lightly and very specifically on the high points of my cheeks for an extra dynamic. Yeah, that's really glitzy. Woo-hoo-hoo. I feel like we had a good, oh, you know what? I feel like we had a good amount of highlighter on as it was. We probably didn't need to mess with that, but that looks fun. Cool. I'm just gonna leave the blush side alone because I feel like we got enough blush going on. I'm gonna quickly do my brows. I'm just actually gonna, I don't feel like filling them in, TBH, so I'm gonna take my soap brows and my MAC Fix Plus. I'm gonna take my spoolie that I have now bent into place and just use the soap brows to, whenever I watch Nikki Makeup do it, she's always like slicking the soap brows so tightly to the skin. It's a look. But you know, I dig. I feel like it just really, ooh. Some of you have been asking me how I get it to stay all day, and I find that the soap brows just, even if it's not the most long-lasting thing, it's the look that it gives that's so unique. I find I can't get this feathered, really tight to the skin look with anything else, but if you wanted to solidify it on top, you can just take a brow gel, a clear brow gel, and go over top. That's no problem. I know a lot of people who use soap brows, they'll use the soap brows and then fill in their brows after, but I just can't get this like lifted, feathered look with anything else. It's wild. My lips are feeling pretty drab, so I'm going to do a quick lip. I'm just gonna use my Makeup Forever Aqua Lip.
Oh, hi.
Hi, honey.
Oh, look at you and all your
Bananas.
Hi.
Bananas.
Oh,
wow, you're so tan, man. Oh, I die. I'm so light.
It's like a greenhouse in here.
I know, it's freaking hot. And then I'm gonna take this Hourglass Ignite lip gloss and do a little shimmery sheen V editorial. Oh, it smells like my dental floss. It smells like the menthol, like waxy dental floss. Okay, so the last product I wanted to kind of try out, this is basically a Surratt haul here, but I bought these prismatic eyes, and these are one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So here's the little box here. You twist the lid off and you get the cream product. They're all duos, and then you slide it and you get the shimmer topper on top. How stunning. This one is neutral eyes. This one looks so beautiful, and this one's real eyes, so it's a much more neutral, lighter palette. I think I'm gonna use this one because I don't want anything too crazy, but I thought that was so fun and I needed to try it out. So this appears to just be a nice light little base. I'm just gonna apply that with my finger puppets and then go on top. This one, it's like a gold, like a champagne-y gold, but it's got a really strong pink reflect in it, so I think it'll go really nicely with the blush that we have done here today. I'm just gonna press that on top. Oh, it's so nice. Pretty. I'm excited to try the dark one. I'm sorry, I just didn't feel like doing a deep one today. I just wanted a little wash of something. All right, and then I'm gonna finish up with the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara, which I was talking to Sarah Tannen about this because I said I loved the look of it, and she was like, oh, I swear by this mascara, it's the best. So does Katie Jane Hughes. I'm like, yeah, it looks really pretty, but it always flakes on me. And she said that she always uses a primer There's the primer. I don't know if it's called the coconut lash primer, whatever the Marc Jacobs one is, but she said she uses the primer with it and she never experiences flaking. So maybe I got a bad one. I don't know. I may try it again at a later date, but the tube I have really flakes badly on me, but it does have a beautiful look to it. And this is the finished look. This is my attempt at makeup artist skin. Here are a few little tips that I've learned lately at all of these master classes from the top women in the biz. It was really cool. It was really cool getting to listen to them and seeing them at work. It was fascinating. It was just like watching professional YouTube live. And I love it. I think this skin looks insane. This is probably going to be my go-to makeup for the next little while. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you learned any fun tips today, and if you have any favorite tips that you've gleaned from any, you know, makeup artists and people you follow. Put it in the comments down below, and let me know what you think of the look. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!